We turn now to our Matt Wentz, who's been keeping an eye on all of this, and more importantly, he's going to tell us when it's going to dry out.
Yeah, there's some good news in the forecast, and I can't wait to share that with you. But, you know, another day of rain, another spot that was different than yesterday, right? It just continues to shift on who gets the heaviest rain today. So it wasn't Cuyahoga County today. It was down towards the south, Akron, Canton, even areas of Portage County. That's where we zoom in on our flash flood warning, which is ongoing throughout the rest of the evening hours. Things starting to subside. That's the good news in terms of rainfall. But this includes areas up towards the north near Ravenna, down towards Rootstown, eventually down towards the Canton area, North Canton, Louisville, getting some flooding rains that we had earlier today, all product of area showers and thunderstorms that work north and east. Here's how much rain fell today. Dry off towards the I-71 corridor where we needed to dry out. Pockets of 1 to 3 inches of rain, and it was the rainfall rates that once again were so impressive. Upwards of 2 inches an hour. That is now long gone. Out towards Ashtabula County, this storm really started to increase in intensity as we move north and east. Just some leftover rain. That will clear out shortly. But we've got more to come off towards the west. Ashland about to get some downpours soon. This area low pressure will take the rest of the evening, even early tomorrow, to clear out. And then we've got more rain after that, and then we can clear things out. I've got the forecast for you coming up, Jay.
All right, it's going to stop raining soon, we promise. All right.
I think so.
Matt, we'll see you in just a bit. All right, now to a 3 News exclusive. We've learned Governor Mike DeWine has joined the team of public officials that trying to keep the Cleveland Indians playing ball at Progressive Field. As we've been reporting for months, the ball club's lease is up soon, and the team is seeking major renovations to the 27-year-old park before agreeing to stay. Mark Namick explains how the governor fits into negotiations and offers other exclusive details.
The team's decision to change its name after more than 100 years has generated a lot of attention. There's only one option that matters to baseball fans and city leaders, and that's keeping Cleveland in the name. But the team's ongoing negotiations is driving fears the team could leave at the end of its lease in 2023 without upgrades to Progressive Field. Governor Mike DeWine telling 3 News today that Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson and County Executive Armin Budish asked him to help fill in a piece of the financing deal to remake the aging ballpark that opened in 1994. The governor telling me he's willing to press state lawmakers for money in exchange for a long-term lease from the team, saying, quote, "I'm just trying to look down the road for Cleveland's protection and for the fans' protection." DeWine wouldn't disclose details, but sources tell 3 News the governor is willing to seek $30 million in state aid for the deal.
A swing and a drive!
Which now includes a 15-year lease and 2 5-year extensions. For months, the Gateway Corporation, the nonprofit that manages the ballpark on behalf of taxpayers, has said the negotiations are going well. The mayor and county executive won't say how much public dollars they're willing to commit to the agreement until it's done. As for the Indians, the team, they say it's complex and that they're negotiating in a very thoughtful, methodical way with the future in mind. Jay, Betsy?
All right, so Mark, we've talked numbers before. This $30 million from the state will certainly help. But what kind of price tag are we talking for the renovations that the team wants to do to Progressive?
You know, I don't know if it'll be as expensive as Frankie Lindor's latest contract, which was about $300 million, but it will be tens and tens of millions. And if you look at the renovation of the recent Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, which was $180 million, you get a sense of what kind of dollars we're talking about, Jay.
All right, now the other question is, where will the taxpayer money come from?
Well, that is the multi-million-dollar question, of course. And as you know, Progressive Field behind me and the other stadiums were financed in a large part by sin taxes, the tax on alcohol and cigarettes. But there's not enough of that to make a major renovation here. So we might see elected officials go with financing and maybe have to pay that off by tapping other sources, the general fund, and maybe even, you know, going after a bed tax or something. We're going to hear about that as soon as that detail of the deal comes out.
All right,
Jay?
Mark, we're all going to be watching and holding our breath, keeping our fingers crossed, hoping this thing gets done. Mark Namick live on What's New. Mark, thanks.
Well, now on your feet at 5, the FDA announced a new warning for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. It says the shot has been linked to a low risk of a rare but serious side effect called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which I know Monica will help me with that. It is a neurological disorder. It is a serious thing, but, you know, as Monica joins us, we have a lot to talk about with this, don't we?
Do. This is like a daily event. We're hearing all this information about COVID and the vaccines, and we bring in our senior health correspondent now, Monica Robbins, to sort of clear all of this up. So this disorder, is it permanent?
No. In some cases, let me get to that.
Okay,
so
complicated.
Guillain-Barré.
Guillain-Barré, thank you.
Yeah, that's how you say it. Or we're just going to call it GBS.
That's even better.
The easiest thing to do.
Very good.
So it's a neurological disorder. It's caused when the body's immune system attacks its nerves. It often starts with tingling and weakness in your feet and legs, and then it spreads upward in your body. In severe cases, yes, it can cause paralysis. Now, the disorder typically starts a few days or weeks after a respiratory infection or gastrointestinal viral infection. And yes, it can also be caused by COVID-19. The report suggests the risk of getting the syndrome is 42 days after getting the J&J shot. Now, most people recover. That's the good news. And there are treatments to ease the symptoms. But some people do have lasting effects, and less than 7% of people will die from it.
How many cases have been reported? Is this common?
No, it is not. It is a very rare side effect. So far, about 100 cases reported, including one death. 95 people required hospitalizations, which is not uncommon with GBS. More than 12.5 million Americans already got the J&J shot. And of the 100 cases, most involve men over age 50. So anyone experiencing symptoms should seek medical care immediately. And Johnson & Johnson is working with federal regulators, but health officials say while the risk is low, it is important to be aware of it. And at this time, though, the CDC is not seeing a connection between GBS and the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines, but there is some concern of that being seen in Europe with AstraZeneca. And speaking of side effects, Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca are now working on whether vaccine modification can reduce the risk of rare blood clots associated with their shots. And we've discussed those before.
Right. There's so much going on, and they're different platforms. Yep. I've been listening. You told us all about it, and, they're built kind of differently. So when we talked about, Pfizer and Moderna specifically, a lot of news has been coming out about booster shots.
Yeah.
What's the latest with all that?
Well, remember, we talked about that the U.S. health officials were meeting with Pfizer. Well, they came out and they said they're sticking to their philosophy. Americans do not need boosters just yet. Now, Israel started giving boosters to those who are immunocompromised because, as we've said in the past, the vaccine for those who are immunocompromised has often been less effective anyway. So those should be the first people to get the vaccine. And also, Delta is rampant everywhere, and they're seeing it in the unvaccinated, which not a surprise, but in Israel, they're seeing it a lot in their kids because the kids aren't old enough to get the vaccine.
Right.
But so far, the danger of it, the hospitalizations, if you will, are low.
All right, back to the GBS. My on-the-fly math tells me that's 8 occurrences per every 1 million shots.
Yeah.
Very rare.
Yeah, exactly. And you are the stats guy, so
well,
yeah.
I was trying as best I could.
I'm a journalist. I don't do math.
Math is kind of my thing. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, with just 10 days to go now until the Summer Olympics opening ceremony, Olympic team members are beginning to arrive at the newly opened Olympic Village in Tokyo. The first ones started getting in today. Now, the way this is going to work, this Olympic Village will be very similar to what the NBA set up last year with their bubble in Orlando. No one gets in, no one gets out. You're tested every day. More than 11,000 athletes will have to adhere to ridiculously strict restrictions, including daily COVID tests, mandatory masks, the whole bit. The opening ceremony is next Friday, July 23rd. And of course, 3 News is your official home of the Olympic Games. So this is going to be a different Olympics from a viewing standpoint, because one of the things that I'm very fascinated to see how NBC handles is the lack of crowd noise. We saw what baseball and football did. They piped in the artificial sound.
Which sounded terrible.
In some cases, it was okay. In other cases, it was cringeworthy.
It was weird.
It was very weird. Now, imagine, if you will, a track and field stadium that will hold 70,000 spectators. Completely empty.
So the long distance runners will find their zen.
Yes, they will.
Everybody else is going to be like, "Wait, they need that." And I think performance is going to be impacted.
That's what I can't wait to see.
And I really think that, it's going to be harder for some of the athletes to attain peak performance.
100%.
Because they draw on that adrenaline so much. There's still going to be plenty of adrenaline going, but I mean,
but the crowd adds that extra something that oftentimes leads to record-setting performances at the Olympics. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of world records go down at these Olympics.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
By the way, it's not so much the adrenaline, it's the caffeine that's in our next story. This one hurts.
Artificial adrenaline.
Bad news for coffee people. In the coming months, that morning cup of coffee could cost you more. Yes, this is terrible. The reason for a possible spike is rising global coffee prices. That's fueled by dwindling supply and growing demand. Now, of course, there's a story behind all of this. World coffee production for this year is expected to be down 11 million bags from last year. Now, bags, I looked it up, it's about 130 pounds of coffee beans. That's how it's, instead of barrels for oil, it's bags for coffee. There you go.
Interesting.
Largely to blame, a devastating drought in Brazil, which of course is the world's largest supplier of coffee beans. Sure. About 30% of the country's Arabica, I knew I was going to get that wrong. I practiced it. Arabica crop for this year and next was lost due to the dry spell. But coffee is one thing many are willing to pay more for.
Coffee is such an integral part of people's day-to-day life that most people are willing to pay the extra quarter or 50 cents for that daily cup of coffee.
Arabica. And like many other industries, pandemic-fueled global supply chain issues are making matters worse. Now, if higher costs are passed on to customers, and let's face it, they will be.
Oh, sure.
It likely wouldn't be until early 2022. Now, we've seen the cost rise on just about everything, food, lumber. According to Reuters, consumer prices showed the biggest gain in 13 years. My fear now is that people are going to start to look at this and go, we're going to stack up. And so
and that could also,
they're going to start hoarding what coffee
and that will shoot the price up because supply and demand.
Then the price really goes up.
Yeah.
So.
I got to tell you, this doesn't affect me at all because I've never in my entire life spent 1 cent for a cup of coffee. I'm not a drinker.
Yeah.
I don't
spend like $5 for a cup of coffee. I will go to the gas station to get the gas station coffee because I just can't fathom that $5 cup of coffee.
But you need it every day, right?
Unless I have a gift card, then I'm all in.
Let me make a note of that.
Christmas.
Gift card.
But you know,
Do you drink every morning?
Every morning,
Yeah, my wife does too.
It gets me started. It's
no, I totally get it. I'm thankful that I'm not, a coffee drinker because I've seen what you people can be like when you can't get your morning cup.
Grumpy.
It ain't pretty.
No.
All right. Coming up next on What's New, Amazon makes a play to enter the quality sleep market. They claim their technology could be, get this, Betsy, a game-changing breakthrough in the quest for a good night's rest.
That'll be interesting for parents of young children. And which American heartthrob is playing Ted Bundy in a soon-to-be-released drama about the former serial killer? That's ahead in Pop Break.
And Matt Wintz, I got to say, you nailed today's forecast, man, right on the button, but I'm not surprised.
I did?
You always get it right. Well, you told me it was going to be no rain over at Progressive Field for their Sweet Holders event, and you were right.
Yeah, I don't remember saying that, Jay, but I appreciate that. Live look at CSU cam right now. We've got very moist atmosphere. You can tell by all the clouds bubbling up, but we are dry for all of Jay's events that he has going on, extracurricular, outdoor dining forecast this evening. We're going to give you a thumbs up. However, there are some showers and thunderstorms, not nearly the coverage of yesterday. We'll take you through it coming up.
Welcome back to What's New. It is Tech Tuesday here on What's New. And that means we're going to give you the 3 top stories grabbing headlines in the tech world.
Today, MasterCard and Verizon announced a partnership for 5G contactless payment options. They hope 5G will make contactless payments easier for both shoppers and small to medium-sized businesses. So your smartphone or your smartwatch could act as the cash register. The goal is to have some developments online by 2023.
We're close to that cashless society. You know, we really are. We're close. This really caught my eye. Amazon is now getting in on the sleep game. The tech giants just got a waiver from the FCC to develop a product that actually uses radar technology to monitor its users' sleeping patterns. So what does this mean for us? I'll break it down. The contactless sleep tracker will use radar senses to detect your movements all throughout the night. What it does is it compiles all this data and then issues a report to tell you what kind of quality sleep you're getting. The company says having this kind of information could lead to significant health benefits.
I wonder if it's a Doppler radar. If it's a Doppler, is it dual pole, C-band, S-band, X-band? we got all kinds of questions on this one for sure. All right, how much would you be willing to spend on a limited edition item? One buyer paid $1.56 million for a 25-year-old copy of Super Mario 64 in its original packaging. That is a record price for a video game.
I had that game once upon a time.
I guarantee you it's not in that shape. Now, listen to this. 2 days ago, an early copy of The Legend of Zelda from 1987 sold for $870,000. How many of you now want to go to your parents' basement and begin digging?
My problem is nothing's unopened.
Left. My parents have gotten rid of all that stuff.
Yeah,
but
I don't have anything that's not open.
Yeah.
I'm a big Mario Brothers guy. I do have a stand-up Donkey Kong machine, and if anybody would like to pay me $1.5 million for it, it's yours.
Stand-up Donkey Kong?
Yeah, the arcade version.
Oh, wow.
I was, listen, I probably spent $10,000 in quarters mastering that game as a kid. So once I became an adult, I'm like, I need to buy one of these.
I'm getting this for myself.
Oh, I love it. I play it all the time. But if anybody wants to give me $1.5 million for it, it could be yours.
I'd say that's a smashing deal. Excellent
it is used,
choice.
though, slightly used.
I'll tell you what, that whole radar thing, Matt, we got to talk more about that offline.
Can you imagine that?
It's pretty trippy. I mean, they're already listening all the time anyway, and hearing you snore and all the other stuff that goes on when you sleep.
Guys, I already sleep with one radar on underneath my pillow, so just tie me up to the machines. I don't care. Track
I'd rather
my every
have it for
move.
the kids, like the kids' rooms. Like, give me an alarm when there's a kid out of bed or something.
Right.
That would be the
They have that already, Betsy.
Yeah, they have those.
Do
now.
they?
It's been a while. The cameras, the whole day. Matt, your weather word today, you're going to hate me for this because this just does not fit into the weathercast, but it's kind of fitting with what we're talking about. Arcade.
Good luck with that one.
Good luck with arcade.
That's good.
You know what? But you know what? He'll do it.
No,
it might make us laugh, but he'll do it.
Well, as long as Mo gets in my ear and tells me, hey, you got to say arcade towards the end, we'll be fine. Appreciate that, Jay. It's not like we have active weather to worry about in my brain or anything like that. So nice, quiet day. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I think a lot of people are sick of the rain. They're sick of the clouds. We were in a bit of a drought a couple weeks ago, if you don't remember that. But boy, if we caught up. It's been kind of gloomy. It's had that November feel last couple of mornings. I know we have these peaks of sun, but it's just been so murky. We've had so much moisture. So looking at the cloud cover the last 2 weeks, the yellow, that's when you have more sunshine than clouds. Look at the clouds we've been locked into percentage-wise, 50, 60, 70, 80% of the day being cloud-filled. So if you've got that kind of winter disorder, whatever that is going on, or if you feel what's going on, it's not you. It's because we haven't had the sunshine. We are going to get that. Wait till you see the forecast. But until then, let's get you through the rain. We've had pockets of 1 to 3 inches. This has shifted every day, but this really took I-77 up towards east of that as you get towards Ashtabula, areas of Trumbull, Portage County, picking up lots of rain. This is the last 3 days. Holy moly, have we seen rain. And it's been pretty much area-wide. A couple exceptions. Carroll, southern Tuscarawas County have escaped the heavier stuff, but a widespread 3, 4, 5, even 6 inches of rainfall that is still trying to soak into our water table. So we could use some drying out. We've had that this afternoon after our initial batch went through. Very heavy rain, even gusty winds out towards Ashtabula County. We've got another wave coming in, though. We may see the radar light up from west to east across the area this evening. Ashtabula County, Sigh of relief as that heads off towards the north. Pretty nasty storm moving through there earlier, but down towards Wellington, some light rain right now. Nothing compared to what we've seen last couple days. Little cell there north of Ashland. We've even lost the lightning with that, but keep your eye out to the west. We've still got a cold front. This will bring renewed chances for showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, or as we get through the evening and then overnight. You can see this area low pressure has been sitting with us. High pressure off towards the east. Everything brings that moisture rate towards us. Fun game, I think, to play here on your National Design hour-by-hour forecast. It'd be like an arcade game. You can be the little space shooter here. Watch as we go through time, try to avoid the rain. Wouldn't that be fun out there? I'm telling you, Betsy and I could do that between shows, but until then, there won't be a lot to be tracking tomorrow. That's the good news. We're going to dry us out tomorrow. Spotty shower, should make it up in the low 80s. You can see models a little gung-ho about that. But then as we get into Thursday, we'll be dry but hot, and then we get yet another round. This will be our final round of storms. Union Home Mortgage 7-day outlook looks like this. Late storms on Thursday. Otherwise, we're dry and hot up near 90. And then storms on Friday. They do look to linger into Saturday now. And then we clear things out. Wait till you see what happens beyond this. Betsy will have it at 11. It's looking perfect. We'll be back.
I am out. I'm coming out now.
Well, this morning the Emmy Award nominations were announced. HBO and HBO Max received a combined 130 nominations. That was the most. Next up would be Netflix. And some of the big nominations include The Crown, Bridgerton, and NBC's This Is Us. Now Kira Cotton has the other big entertainment headlines in today's Pop Break.
From heartthrob to America's most infamous serial killer, One Tree Hill star Chad Michael Murray is Ted Bundy in the movie America's Boogeyman. While the role of a villain may be new to Murray, the Ted Bundy story is not new to viewers. The trailer's release was met with criticism that the story of the 1970s serial killer has been overtold. This is at least the fourth movie released about the infamous killer in the past 3 years. But if you're still interested, Ted Bundy, America's Boogeyman, is set to be released August 16th. Jada Pinkett Smith is embracing a new look. The Red Table Talk host recently shaved her head and said that it was her daughter Willow who encouraged her to do so. In a post on Instagram, she wrote, "Willow made me do it because it was time to let go. But my 50s are about to be divinely lit with this shed." Willow, who is no stranger to shaving her own head, called her mom's new look divine.
Time to bust Grandpa out of here.
Zac Efron and his brother Dylan are on a mission, and it's one of the sneaky sorts. Over the weekend, with the Mission Impossible theme song playing, the two set out to sneak their grandpa out of his retirement home. With the snatch of a badge and some covert moves, the duo gets grandpa out to enjoy a Coke and some quality time. The video ends with the trio arriving at the Efron home to watch the UEAF European Championship game.
And Grandpa's better at acting than I am.
I just love that video. At 93 years old, Grandpa Hal is still kicking butt and taking names, and we're hoping that he made it back home safely to his retirement home.
What a fun adventure.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Bust somebody out?
Mission Impossible music, sneaking around, getting Gramps out to go watch the soccer game.
Super top
Pretty
secret.
cool. By the way, totally off topic, I love the glasses.
Yes,
you were telling me that they're blue light?
Yes.
Now, so does this help with looking at computer screens?
That's what I'm told, that you just look at the screen so long and it hurts your eyes, so this is kind of a protective barrier.
So fashionable and functional.
Listen, trying to do what it does.
They suit you well.
I feel like we should have a disclaimer like this is not medically proven or something like,
Right.
you know.
No, you know
Monica
what?
will probably tell us that.
I will say, I ordered a screensaver that's blue light,
Yeah.
and it works.
Well, there you
It
go.
does. It cuts down on eye strain, and I feel better since I've been using it. So there you go.
I just think they're cute.
I'm still worried
Well, you
about
look
coffee
great.
prices. All right, well, coming up in the next half hour of What's New. You can't see, I have no energy. This is crazy.
I'm going to start a GoFundMe page for your coffee increase habit.
We may need it. According to a recent survey, have you heard about this? Cleveland is the most stressed city in America. What? Mike Polk, of course, is the guy we sent out to get more on this one.
Yeah, and for the second straight month, this is great news. Listen to this. Ohio has set new records for the most small business startups. We're going to tell you why small businesses are booming in the Buckeye State.
And would you be interested in trying mac and cheese flavored ice cream? It's available starting tomorrow. We have the details ahead, and we'll be right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We begin with three things you need to know now at 5:30. President Joe Biden will return to the Buckeye State next week. That's according to CNN. He'll be in Cincinnati for a town hall that will air on that network. It will focus on a wide range of issues, including COVID and the economy. Takes place on Wednesday, July 21st.
And we have some good news for Cleveland Indian fans. The team is one step closer to staying in Cleveland. 3 News investigator Mark Namick talked to Governor Mike DeWine today. The governor exclusively told Mark that he is involved in the team's current lease negotiations. While he wouldn't disclose any specifics, we did have a source tell us the governor is offering $30 million that will be given out over 15 years. The negotiations include 2 5-year extensions, which would keep our team in Cleveland for a total of 25 years. Lawmakers would have to approve using taxpayer dollars in the major renovation project. $30 million is just a portion of what would be needed for the renovations. So far, no comment from the Indians, Cleveland, or Cuyahoga County.
And the Greater Cleveland Film Commission will soon have a new boss. Motion picture location manager Bill Garvey will be the president of the Film Commission. He's forged relationships with Marvel, Disney, Paramount, Universal, Warner Brothers, Netflix, and more. He's worked on productions like The Avengers, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and The Sopranos. He starts at the helm on September 27th. That is such a huge part of kind of just bonus money for the city of Cleveland, using stuff that's already here, using the people that are already here. That is an absolute win-win. And with that, we say welcome back to What's New on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford.
He sounds well connected.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of person you want fighting your battles.
Absolutely.
Because if you're going to win those big movie projects and get them here to the city, you got to have someone that knows all of the major studio heads, and it seems like we've got the right guy.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Boy, isn't
and in
that
this
true?
case, it's both.
Yeah, it's very helpful. All right, well, you may have seen the headline being shared all over social media feeds this week from WalletHub.com. They've just released a new study that names our loved city of Cleveland the most stressed city in the nation. Surprising to me, but that's what they say. The financial website ranked 180 cities. They looked at everything from work stress to financial stress. They threw in family stress, health and safety stress. What does all of this mean? Well, we leave it to Mike Polk Jr. to sort it all out.
Hey, how you feeling, Cleveland? Little stressed out? More stressed than any other place in America? If not, you must be doing something wrong, because you should be. According to the latest clickbait list article that your cousin posted on Facebook, Cleveland is the most stressed out city in the nation. You may remember our good friends at WalletHub.com from countless previous lists that have informed us how bad we are at everything and how foolish it is to live here. Notable past hits have ranked Cleveland as the 3rd neediest, 47th most obese, 2nd saddest, and 36th worst city for your skin, which just seems a bit petty. These lists are rarely flattering and often dubious in how they arrive at their conclusions, but darned if that stops us from passing them around and talking about them. It's human nature to want to compare things, to determine how we measure up against others, and we like lists because they condense big concepts and ideas into easy, manageable bullet points that appeal to our ever-diminishing attention spans. But how accurate can the results actually be, and how seriously should we take them? I spoke with Jill Gonzalez, an analyst from WalletHub.
We do look at existing data points from everywhere from the Bureau of Labor Statistics to the Department of Housing and Urban Development to Gallup Healthways and the CDC.
The most important thing to remember about all of these lists is that they all have ulterior motives of some sort. The primary way they make money is by showing you ads. In WalletHub's case, it's for financial products. They get paid if you sign up for one of these offers through their site. All that said, that doesn't necessarily mean that these articles are entirely inaccurate. And obviously, some sites are more reputable and serious in their approach than others.
We do our best to go about this as scientifically as possible. You know, it's not a survey. We're not asking people how they feel. We really are quantifying it in terms of metrics.
When trying to gauge the accuracy of articles like these, it's all about methodology. Where did the site get their info from? If it's based on data from places like the Census Bureau or the Pew Research Center, it has a better chance of being accurate than if the info is derived from a phone survey of 100 people who were willing to answer their landline and respond to questions from someone called clickmonkey.org. Take those results with a big grain of salt. After all, literally anyone can make a list and put it online. Like this list that I just made of Cleveland's 3 most hated websites, based on a study conducted by me using some science. Number 3, Steelers.com. Number 2, veganhealth.org. And number 1, you guessed it, WalletHub. Don't get mad at me about it, WalletHub. It's nothing personal. I only report on what the data tells me. And as for you, Cleveland, remember to keep these silly lists in perspective. There's certainly nothing to stress out about. This is Mike taking her easy for 3 News.
Can I share? When the piece was airing, Matt Wintz made a very funny observation. I'm gonna embarrass him now. He said, "Is that really Jill? That picture they're showing of her, is that really Jill? Because I think I've seen that picture in a JCPenney's catalog."
It was in last month's catalog.
I think you're right.
Anything we can do to slam Wallet Hub, we're on board now,
yes,
right?
I love Mike's ranking. I'm surprised that Steelers was number 3. I would have had Steelers.com number 2, and then Wallet Hub. Are you stressed?
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
I am. So remember when 2020 started? I'm going to be very honest here. When 2020 started, this show started, which my day kind of got real crazy, and then we started into the pandemic and the mask, and my face broke out
because of the mask.
And it was the mask knee, right? We were doing stories on it. I'm like, oh, but it never went away, and I was like, oh. So I talked with my dermatologist, and she's like, oh, it's stress.
So you have to eliminate stress from your life.
Yeah, just eliminate it. Or here's some nice medicine. So
coffee.
And yeah, exactly. No,
I don't think coffee's going to help eliminate stress.
I'm not like on downers or anything, but it's just, your body acts different when it's under stress.
Yeah,
and it kind of comes and goes, and you know when you're under stress, and your body, whether you have to go to the restroom more often, you get cold hands and feet, you start shaking, your body acts really weird when you're under big amounts of stress. It manifests in different ways. It does. Yeah. And this year, it has put a lot of people through a lot of different stuff.
I'll say, I think one of the reasons I enjoy working with you so much is for all the stress you carry, I may be the most stress-free individual I've ever known. I stress about nothing. Even when I should stress, I don't. And my wife is very much like you. Tracy is a stress mess, man. I mean, she's thinking about, could that tree fall on our car right now? And I'm like, where do these thoughts come from? And she says, it's the female mind.
I guess it is. I just have a lot that I'm going with at all times.
So take Mike's advice and just chill.
Sure.
Just relax.
Yeah, I'll
help you with that.
I'll need to not work to do that, so that'll be interesting. Well, even though small businesses were among the hardest hit during the pandemic, the state of Ohio is seeing a boom in new businesses. I'm not the only one stressed, so are all these new business owners. The Secretary of State's office just reported a second month of record-setting numbers. More than 20,000 new businesses were created in May. These are businesses, not jobs. And they saw the same number in April. Now, some of that growth is contributed to people looking to find more flexibility with family life and work. Cheryl Perez is a business coach and mother of 6. In this week's Mom Squad podcast, she talked to our Maureen Kyle about the steps to creating a business you love and how to make it successful.
Make sure that you choose a business model that's going to meet the needs of your lifestyle. Just like you mentioned, if you're a mom and you're really looking at doing something as a side hustle and hey, I could probably do 10 or 15 hours a week, but I need it to be flexible. I need it to be from home. Then you're really probably thinking about starting an online business and an online-based business so that you still have that freedom and flexibility and you can keep your profit margins higher and your expenses lower. Oftentimes people say, well, I want to start a business that has no competition, that no one else out there is doing. And I'm of the belief that you really shouldn't start that business. If you don't find anybody else out there doing it, then it doesn't mean that you're brilliant and you've come up with an amazing idea. It generally means no one wants to pay for it. Someone else has probably tried it. Someone else has probably attempted it and it didn't work.
Well, in the podcast, Cheryl explains the steps you need to think through when it comes to finances, and don't forget about marketing. You can get Mom Squad podcasts wherever you download your favorites.
All right, coming up on What's New, Betsy mentioned this a few minutes ago. What is up with macaroni and cheese flavored ice cream? I'm not quite sure how I feel about this development. We're going to discuss it coming up.
Is the macaroni in the ice cream?
No, it's just flavored.
It's
just flavored.
It's different. Also ahead for us, Northeast Ohio's favorite bachelor got another rose from the Bachelorettes. We'll tell you about that ahead in Pop Break.
Man, did I have a blast today. The Indians asked me to participate in their annual Sweet Holders Corporate Sponsors event. Betsy, I understand, did this a couple of years ago.
Many years ago.
We all got to invade Progressive Field. Turned out it was just our own little field of dreams. The good thing was the rain stayed away today. The bad thing was there was so much rain yesterday, the infield was off limits. So we couldn't take infield, and we couldn't actually take batting practice outside on the field.
Look at that guy. Look at that guy.
The Indian scouts were in the boxes up watching, and they've already sent the contract over.
I mean, we need pitchers. We just drafted a whole bunch of them, but until they get here.
We did. But even though we were downstairs in the batting cages, it was so much fun. Thanks to Patrick DiBiasio, Curtis Danberg for letting me
look at that
take
swing.
Place. Yeah, I was just punishing the baseball.
Call you Choppa.
I mean, punishing the ball. It was fun. It definitely my little field of dreams.
Step and everything.
Oh, yeah. I'm not there for the
impressed.
tryouts, Bets. I am not there for the tryouts. I will say I didn't have batting gloves. I forgot them at home, and there were a couple that got a little inside on me, and my hands are still tingling from it.
Those wood bats, I like to hit with the metal bat.
Yeah. Oh, the ball goes a lot farther, too.
Exactly.
And the sound is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It is a fun thing to do, though, if you get
It's a cool event. It really
definitely
is.
Well, Jay said the rain held off. Matt, I'm sure you were responsible for that, single-handedly putting up the Force Field over Progressive Field.
Betsy, a side note on this, we did a home run derby 2 years ago when Jay first arrived back in Cleveland, and he crushed us. You won the whole thing. You were hitting him over the secondary ballpark.
I took my Wheaties, ate my Wheaties that day.
I don't think so. That was an average day in the Jay Crawford household. But anyway, yes. So there's some skill going behind on that guy.
Is this when we get to start talking about that stress-free life that Jay has going on?
I'm telling you. I wish everybody could live it.
He's on vacation every day here. I'm telling you. I don't know why I picked meteorologist, Betsy. I don't know about you, but
I'll do that for a day.
Hey, guys,
one day.
I was thinking about that picture of Jill. I wasn't thinking about that picture of Jill, and I've pulled up some old pictures here. Yeah, this is my JCPenney catalog.
What are you doing?
This was back in high school. It was a different era then. I mean, this is what got me, my wife today. So
it's so authentic.
It is. I know. It looks just like Jill's picture for sure. So I didn't mean to have that up on the screen there. I'm sorry. Let's talk temperatures. So we'll get to the actual weather portion of this segment. Temperatures, we haven't talked much about the last couple of days because they've been kind of even as she goes. 70s where you had the rain, 80s where you haven't. We're going to start to pay attention to temperatures over the next couple of days. Right now, again, 70s and 80s. Again, big picture. This is all the rain-cooled air, 70s and 80s. This time of year, don't forget, it's still July. I was going to look at my watch. Watch doesn't tell you the month typically, but you can see we've got the heat out towards the plains, 80s to near 90 degrees in the plains. It's also very hot out west, record setting there. But this, as the pattern starts to finally move, will move in. We've got a hot day in store as we get into Northeast Ohio Thursday, not tomorrow though. Look at the rain chances holding on tonight. Again, we've got that secondary wave coming in. I do think we have more rain chances if you haven't seen it today, and the radar holds true to that. We got round one out. That had the soaking, flooding rains for areas near Canton up towards Portage County. Here comes our next round. Pretty decent rain now moving into the islands. We've got thunder and lightning with that. Keep in mind, this atmosphere is untapped today, so we could be dealing with some stronger thunderstorms yet over the next couple hours. Meanwhile, we've dried out down towards Ashland. Those showers have faded. We'll keep an eye off towards the west this evening. We'll pass along anything through all our newscasts as expected. 1 to 3 inches of rain. That's what fell today. Over the last couple days, this is the problem. Anywhere from 3 to upwards of 6 inches of rain. Pretty much area wide. I mean, this has really gotten everyone. It's good in terms of that drought. It's now gone, but bad in terms of how quickly we got it. We've got a couple hours left here. Tomorrow we'll have some straggler showers, but this front is finally on the move. Your National Desire Mart big picture look at the next several days. Here's what tomorrow's radar is going to look like. Likely patchy on the radar. We'll clear things out Thursday. We start dry. Remember, Thursday's hot as well, but here comes our front. Late day storms perhaps on Thursday. If not Thursday, we'll have them on Friday for sure. And that looks to linger on into the weekend. Hopefully we can get this thing out of here in time. In terms of humidity though, it's July. That's not going anywhere. We'll get a little bit more comfortable Sunday and Monday. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. There's your hot day on Thursday after a fairly dry day tomorrow. Maybe a spotty shower. Weekend rain Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday and Monday we start to clear out. Next week at this point looks beautiful. Jay?
All right, great. And Matt, is that going to be your new your Facebook profile picture?
Already is. I just uploaded it.
I love it. Yep. Okay, very good. We'll enjoy that. All right. Earlier this year, Ohio-based ice cream company Jenny's, you may remember, introduced something called Everything Bagel Ice Cream. But now things are getting downright cheesy. I did not write that.
I see what you did.
I did not write that.
You said it,
because it's kind of a dad joke. It's kind of borderline dad, but I did deliver it.
It's all in on
I'm Ron
dad
Burgundy.
joke.
You put it in prompter. I'm going to read it.
Oh boy.
Okay, so for real, this is real now. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese announced a partnership with Brooklyn-based ice creamery Van Leeuwen. Did I pronounce that correctly? Van Leeuwen? I think I did. It's a limited edition mac and cheese flavored ice cream. The dessert uses actual powdered cheese from their macaroni boxes. Those brave enough to try the treat can get the ice cream starting tomorrow, 11 a.m. It's $12 a pint.
Hoi.
You in or out on that?
I'll try it. I'll try
out.
anything. But I don't know that I would be like, this is so good. I think it's one of those like, okay, I tried cheese ice cream.
To quote the great Randy Jackson, that's a hard no for me, dog. That's a hard no for me. I can't go there. Some flavors, like, okay, just because we love macaroni and cheese and we love ice cream doesn't mean that we're going to love them together.
True. My first reply to this was bacon ice cream. I'm all in on bacon ice cream.
They don't have that, do they?
They have bacon. Michael Simon had it at his restaurant.
Oh, my goodness. Now, I would devour bacon anything.
It was so delicious.
Yeah, I love bacon flavor.
Oh,
But I don't know if I love it in ice cream.
You'd be surprised. If you pair it with the right stuff, anything is possible.
I'm definitely going to pass on the macaroni and cheese ice cream, though. That sounds a little gross.
No for Jay.
Yep.
I'll try it.
Okay.
Well, next up in Clicking in Cleveland, Jay's former co-worker at ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, is back on. He's backtracking on some recent comments. We'll explain the controversy next.
And one former patient at UH is thanking the staff there for the gift of life. That's our show is something good. It's coming up.
Hey, we are talking about what's clicking in Cleveland today. We're talking about a steam locomotive and The Bachelorette and Stephen A. Smith acting like a total jerk, saying some rude things.
What's that?
Oh, okay, good. We'll go with that then. But Al said it would be fun.
It's time now to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi there, Stephanie. Happy Tuesday.
Hi, Betsy. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody at home. If you're a fan of the railroad, listen up because a fan favorite is coming back to the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad. The nickel plate steam locomotive will make its yearly run in Northeast Ohio in September in collaboration with the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society. Passengers can book trips on the train on September 3rd, 10th through 12th, and 17th through 19th. Tickets for railroad members go on sale Friday, and the general public can get tickets starting next Tuesday. Speaking of fan favorites, Akron's Michael Allio got another rose from the Bachelorette Katie Thurston last night. That makes him one of 7 men left, just 7, vying for Katie's love. Now, it was a tense episode with no rose handed out on his group date. But at the very start of the show, we did hear Katie telling co-hosts Caitlin Bristow and Tasia Adams that Michael continues to make an impact on her. We saw those previews last week, though, of him having a tough time being away from his son, so we'll see what happens next week, and we'll have your recap on Tuesday. And today, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith is walking back his comments about Major League Baseball star Shohei Ohtani using an interpreter. Here's what he said on First Take this morning.
Let me be the first to stand up and say that I want to express my sincere apologies to the Asian community and the Asian American community.
He tweeted that his comments were unintentionally insensitive and regrettable. Now, Smith had said that Ohtani being the face of Major League Baseball was bad for building a fan base because he needs help with speaking English during interviews. Now, I know, Betsy J, you two are big baseball fans.
Yeah.
This man is an impressive person. You know, he's a pitcher. He's leading the league in home runs.
He's a modern-day Babe Ruth. He's not just a great hitter, he's a great pitcher. And I know Stephen A. I worked with him for 9 years every day. He's got a great heart. He made a big mistake on this, and he's owned it, but you can't take back those initial words. I mean, you got to be very careful how you say it. But I will say, part of the problem is the man makes $12 million a year. He makes that much money because he says things that moves the meter. He gets people's attention. And sometimes that environment leads people to say dumb things. I'll just say it that way. And that's what happened here.
Say dumb things, get paid $12.5 million a year.
Yeah.
That's true. Toothpaste out of the tube for sure, but we will be seeing him pitch tonight. And he's leading off the hitting for the American League tonight in the All-Star game, so that'll be great to watch for sure.
He is the most exciting player the game has seen in maybe 25 years. He's that good. He really is. He's the real deal. Okay, Steph, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, when hospital workers save your life, literally save your life, are there any words? We'll share that story next.
And coming up on What Matters Most at 6, January Keaton explains what will happen to a group of local homeless men being removed from the only place they have to call home. Their story is coming up.
Hey, well, there goes a fast car. The mayor and the county executive won't say how much they're going to give, blah, blah, blah.
Hi, Al. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Mitchell. I'm Laura Cascio. We begin tonight with the weather and another round of rain.
Oh, you're welcome. Of course. Okay. I think I'm a little low. Yeah, thanks. Hey, Al, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check, mic check. I'm Laura Queso. Yeah, it's this. Let's see. Can you help? Do you mind reminding me? Helping?
Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Cuyahoga County prosecutors, 50? Oh, okay.
All right, we wrap it up this Tuesday with our Show Us Something Good. One patient thanked the team at University Hospital's Parma Medical Center after he suffered 2 heart attacks in the span of 6 months. His name's Bill Regan. There he is. He's a pickleball champion. Suffered the second heart attack in May after leaving the pickleball court in Parma. Bill says the hospital is really caring and that people needed to know. So this morning, Bill gathered the team who saved his life to thank them, including the police officers and EMS workers who came to his rescue.
All is well, and I'm so grateful for these gentlemen behind me and the work that they do.
Well, they do that work every day, and I'm sure they just probably don't hear it enough. But Bill, thank you for telling them. And some more good news. Bill recovered quickly, very quickly. In fact, he was back on the pickleball court this week after being discharged. Now, he had this heart attack in May, and it was life-threatening. And here he is, back on the pickleball court, I'm sure having a blast. So, Bill, we're glad you recovered.
It's a super cool story for sure. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon for What's New.
We're back tomorrow at 5, and we hope to see you then. What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, here to stay. The lease money to keep the Indians playing at Progressive Field for years to come has come through. Mark Namick explains what that means to the team and the city coming up in a live report. Also, losing their homes.
We're very upset about the situation, but at the end of the day, if the county won't fund it, there's not really much that we can do.
Time has run out for a group of homeless men staying at a nearby hotel. January Keaton explains why they're not allowed to stay. Tough decision.
You make a decision that the benefit of the vaccine outweighs the risk.
With COVID cases on the rise, Dr. Fauci makes another plea for everyone to get the shot. And Final Flight, a research plane used here in Cleveland and the last of its kind, is now officially a memory in local space history.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Laura Queso. We begin tonight with the weather and yes, another round of rain. The heavy rain causing some flash flooding the last 2 nights, and tonight we are watching out again for high water. The chief is here now tracking the latest. Hi, Betsy.
Well, there you see the radar. It's pretty scattered around northeast Ohio. We will have more of this kind of bubbling up as we go through the evening, but we always look to the lightning first. It's a pretty good indicator of where the strongest storms are. They are out to the west. If you have friends or family at Cedar Point, give them a heads up because this is coming in. Likewise, for the islands, some pretty bumpy weather here. This will pass through in about the next hour or so, but that being said, you still got that hour to get through it. We also have some scattered showers that have been popping up in portions of Lorain County, Tuscarawas County. But by and large, the heaviest of that rain is out to the west. Now, heavy rain is a big problem because we are so waterlogged right now. And any amount of rain that we get is just going to run off of the surface. So here we go out to Marblehead, Kelly's Island, Put-in Bay up to the north there. Sandusky is here. And of course, you can tell exactly where Cedar Point is. So this storm is getting very close to those areas. We're probably in a lightning stop right now. They actually stop all the rides when lightning is within 10 miles of the park. So that is probably happening right now.